Hello, my name is Agnieszka Maciejewska and I am a member of the board of the Foundation of Women Leadership, and I have a pleasure to welcome you in our next FLB Talks. And today we have a special, fantastic guest, Hedwige Nuyens. She came to us to meet us and to have this conversation, and Hedwige is also the CEO of the International Banking Federation. Welcome and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Agnieszka.
It's great to have you here today, because as we just started, it's a nice day for us and it's a great success that the Women on Board has been finally accepted by the Polish government. So for me, we start a new era. You have much better experience, much wider experience, but I see your smile and you are happy as well.
Absolutely, and we are here at EY, and I know many people, many of our friends and partner organizations have played a decisive role in convincing the government to make this happen. So thank you to all of you in EY and in our organization to have made this possible.
And it's great that you are here and we can discuss this, and we can also look with the, at the better future in this gender equality topic, yes, right? Yes. And just to start, still we believe that today women do not want to choose between the work, career and the family life. But in many cases, women still need to make this choice. Mm-hmm. Do you believe that we shall empower more our female colleagues at the workplace and in the society?
Yes, I really like to start with that, because it's a question that is asked to me the most of the time. And empower, as much as I like that word, I would not only speak about empower, I would speak about inspire women. I would speak about enable women. I would speak about support women. And I wouldn't limit myself to women. If we want to have a future as a company, if we want to have a future as society, we need people, young people, families that can make their life while they also contribute to society. So this is a much larger program that is needed for everything. So if we want a future for our family, for our country, we need children, we need families, we need actually mothers and fathers, and we need to make this possible.
Yes, I absolutely agree. But looking at the reports, at the research, one of the reports published by the World Bank says that only 30% of women live in the countries with equal economic opportunities, right? And even there, even if the law environment is there, mm-hmm, the institutional support not necessarily is there.
Yes, that's right, and it's a work in progress. So I can say that one of the statistics I like most is education. Education is a single statistics where women have progressed phenomenally, and in most countries, women are now more educated than men. But it's true. What you are speaking mm-hmm about is true, and it's about development. It's about a journey. It's also about backlash. It's about legal framework. I believe that it will go in the right direction with some hiccups, but at the end of the day, talent is the first element, children, families, economies second, and it goes very much hand in hand. So it's not about choosing the one rather than the other. It's about making smart choices. Having women in the workplace leads to better workplace, leads to better companies. Having women in governments leads to better policy, more secure environments. So it is the smart choice, but power is not changing just like that. You've referred to the yes. Women on Board Directive, and when I'm a bit depressed, what doesn't happen a lot, I look at, okay, instead of looking at what still needs to be changed, let us be proud of what we realized. I was one of the first many times. My grandmother was one of the first to do university. So we should also sometimes own our success as women. And so as much as I speak about empowerment, I think we should think of the power we have and we can use.
Absolutely, I agree, because there is a lot of role models like you are, but they are role models at universities, at schools, at workplace, everywhere. And just as you said, it's good to have this moment of reflection, to not only to benefit, but also to admire the society, the leadership for the success, like today with the director. Another topic, you know, diversity, inclusion, and the gender equality was a great topic in last 15 years, 10 years, 15 years for sure. I remember the moments when we have started talking about this, how it was completely fresh. And now I'm not depressed, but I wanted to hear your perspective. In many countries or even firms, companies, you can hear that now D&I is not that important. Now we can withdraw, we can do something more important for the business or for the economy. How do you react on this? Because I'm pretty sure that you hear a lot of these comments.
Now, I consider myself privileged in that sense that I travel a lot. I consider myself a world leader, and I also act as such. It is not uncommon to have backlashes in life. It's not uncommon, if you're a CEO, to face different perspectives, different priorities. So whenever I speak to women, young women, women who face that backlash, I say, ladies, girls, this is the time to rally, to think again, because I am more creative when I have boundaries. I am more resilient when I face challenges. And so the question is not whether we should change our mission. We should not. But sometimes, to get what you want, you need to adapt your narrative. You need to find other allies. You need to find other arguments. We are there to stay, Agnieszka. We are the future of the whole world. So they cannot do without us. But it is not completely unnormal. If you are now a young man facing social media with all those addictions, not getting a degree at university, hearing about those women who say, and what about me? So when you have those men following courses in the Institute of Directors hearing, oh, we need more women, and they say, oh, and what about us? So if you have been in power and having 90% of the seats, and you only have 60, you see that as a decline, whereas we see it as justice.
Yes, absolutely. But it's very also easy to change your mind, saying that, okay, for a number of years, men was empowered, they had the power, they had the decision-making opportunities. Now it's our turn. And from what you are saying, I hear that it's not like this. It's the partnership, right?
Yes.
It's that we need, as you said in the beginning, we need mothers and fathers. We need men and women. We need all the genders to make this diverse world better, right? That's how I see it. And you started to talk about the different challenges. One of those are the bias, right?
Yes.
And I remember 10 or 15 years ago, that was some packet of different biases. Now there are a bit different biases, right? One of them is when you open AI or when you use AI. Even AI started to be biased.
Yes, but let's just go back in time. When you had in Poland the good old male boardrooms of guys that have known each other for 30 years at university, that was a bias in itself.
Of course.
They knew each other, they knew nothing else.
They did decisions like this, no wider perspective, it was so easy.
And now you replicate it by the millions, billions with AI, with social media. And so what you see, and I was in Turkey with a young couple of Gen Z, and the guy said, when we look at Facebook or Instagram, both the women and the men, we get different comments on the same article. They will put the misogyny on the women because she reacts. They would put the nicer thing on the man. So what is social media? Social media's business model is to keep you busy on the app. So they will replicate and magnify what you have looked at, try to keep you busy longer. So we as leaders, we as companies, we have to understand those mechanisms. We have to still speak to the people to understand. And there is also a backlash amongst the younger generation. Some youngsters say, we quit with it. Because it is so addictive and so
It is.
poisonous that even for some youngsters, it becomes too much.
Absolutely. Plus all the fake news, whatever, right? That can poison, especially young minds. Not only young, but especially young minds. So what we are talking about is how exactly we as the society, we as the leaders can use this diversity of talents to grow. To grow not only from the economical point of view, but grow in our culture, in our how we understand the world and how we can lead the world to the future, right? Because whatever we say, world is in a risky, difficult situation, right? So, is it true from your experience and from your travels and meeting different people that this is the power, this is the source that we should use?
Yes, and I think we are at a great moment to think about that. And I would also very much like to address my message to the young girls, to the talented women in the audience. We are at a turning point for the whole planet, also for the man in power. Because think of this. Before, to be smart, the smartest guys in the room, they studied at Harvard, they studied at Cambridge.
Yes.
Now, Agnieszka, all of us have studied at Harvard. All of us. The knowledge of everything is in one app, is in one.
That's true.
What will make us different, dear ladies, listen well, is not about what the app tells you. It's about how you deal and exchange. So, and a psychologist told me that the great thing about women is that they don't take anything for granted. A quick solution, a quick answer, a man will say that's a quick fix. A woman will say, is that right? So the biggest advice I could give to women, talented women that want to grow is learn to use it. Know that it's biased. That's a given. Not only about you, but about many things. But learn to use it, test different applications. Because actually, as of now, we restart the setting. All the differences that were busy about knowledge, education are back again, and it's about how you will be able to use that knowledge. And second, very important, how we will redefine the added value of a human being. And where we add something that is not replaceable by an AI, it is empathy. It's care, it's understanding, it's mission, it's values, it's a purpose. So we should own this place because this is essential.
It's also the innovation, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm happy that you mentioned planet, because I think that's one of the aspects that to some extent young people are focused on, but not that much. That's one of the next to the diverse talents, next to the AI and new technology, there is still this one planet that we own, right?
Yes, but at the same time, it's a little bit like the narrative about D&I. So when I speak to my kids and I try to explain that they have to save for their retirements, I have zero chance. I mean, their retirement, they just want to know, okay, what can I do now? But if I can say, okay, how can you invest something? How can you play around? How can you actually find a useful thing for your money and try to play with it? Then they are interested. So it's a question also for us as mentors, as guidance, as parents to see how you use this talent. And I can tell you for Gen Z, I had it with my kids, they sometimes start very ambitious. They think everything will just go fine. They will have impact. They will have like responsibility from day one. And then they hear all these news, no hires. We don't need youngsters. And then they ask me, why did I need to study?
Yes.
And now I can be replaced. And then I have this conversation. But what do you want actually? What do you want to do? So how can we find something else that will guide you in the direction that you want? It might not be an internship at EY because perhaps but there are so many other things you can do. So it is about creating experience and build your own destiny.
Plus the flexibility that sometimes you need to take one step back.
Yes.
And then you go forward.
Yes.
One more topic about AI and new technology. We also know from different research and report that unfortunately women they use less of new technology and AI than men. Is it a risk in this or is it a chance in this? What do you think?
Yes, we saw it before as well. So YouTube, for example, LinkedIn was used less, but Instagram was the other way around. So young girls use that more than men. So I think there is also a shift in how you engage with youngsters, with pictures, with chats, that goes better with women. I think there is a risk, but I think there is also an overhyping in AI, and we still did not acknowledge sufficient the challenges and risks of AI. So I believe that we as leaders, again, and as women and as female talent, we should also have a critical eye on this.
Absolutely.
It's not that every technology is just fantastic. Yeah. Technology can be good and bad at the same time.
And when I observe the market, I think that AI and technology is risky, not because it will replace people, right? Because maybe it will replace some of the roles, but it will create new roles. It is risky because we tend to rely too much, to believe too much. We tend to lose this, critical analysis of the information that we read or we get. Now let's talk a moment about the economy of Poland, right? Our situation. We started with the good news, and another point of consideration is that Poland is one of the growing economy in European Union. But Poland, you are not the first time here. What is your reflection? How do you see our future? What do you think, how we would progress, knowing other countries?
So, of course, Poland is a success story. And we have to congratulate everyone here because this economic boom is tremendous. A lot of Polish people who went abroad come back. So it is a tremendous moment of growth. Of course, growth comes also with downsides, construction, housing, etc., etc. But I would like to say something about the young Polish women I meet a lot. And it's true that I sometimes hear we don't get enough chances, it's still conservative. So the story of Poland is a story of change. And the old Poland, where you had conservatism, where you had a lot of inward-thinking Polish leaders, is dying. If the future of Poland is innovation, the future of Poland is export, the future of Poland is change, is dealing with geopolitics, is finding its way in Europe, leading Europe, whereas before it was not always the case. So I believe that we as women, we should think about how can we find a place in this, knowing that the old conservative Poland is going to be gone very soon. And so even though you think it's still harder for women to get a promotion, and it is still harder for women to raise a family, and very often they are alone, or expectation is that they take care of
it's harder to get the same salary.
The same salary, absolutely. But internet is there worldwide, and I tell everyone, Poland is great, but it's not the only country. Stay tuned about opportunities abroad. You can do a lot remote now, travel, speak with others. There are a lot of foreign countries here that have also subsidiaries elsewhere. So we are in a moving place, and so opportunities will emerge. And second, Poland is one of the countries with the lowest birth rate.
True.
If Poland wants to continue its growth trajectory, they will have to address the issue of labor force. And so a bit like we saw with Gen Z, now it's gone, but Gen Z 5 years ago could change the setting because they didn't want to work 60 hours, even not at EY. And women can't work 60 hours, but they can be as efficient. So sometimes The power relation can change. And I would say to women here, one by one, it's difficult, but unite. Join a network, speak to others, exchange strategies. We don't do that enough. Mm-hmm. When I apply for a job, I call 15 of my friends for help. So we should learn to ask for help.
Networking, as you said, and my experience, and I wanted to ask this, maybe one of our last questions, is about mentoring.
Yes.
Because what you just said is this exchange of network support comes also from mentors, both, in my view, from men and women. Do you think that mentoring is one of those?
Yes, and mentoring is fine, but sponsoring is better. So I would advise, look for mentors if you want to grow. Mm-hmm. Look for mentors if you want support. Look for mentors if you want role models. If you want the next promotion, it's better to look for a sponsor. Mm-hmm. Now, I will give you a tip how to get something done from a man. So you have to ask something that can be done in 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. 10 minutes. And you propose it as a gift. You would help me. It would be great if the man feels entitled.
Absolutely.
It's easy. It's 10 minutes. Clear question. It is about, could you get an introduction? Mm-hmm. What would be your advice? Ask something that can be done in 10 minutes. If you want 1 hour conversation, it's better to ask your female mentor.
Thank you very much. Very wise advice. Thank you very much. Hedwige, thank you for your visit. Thank you for your openness to share your experience. I wish you all the best in your, I'm pretty sure, very, very wide and ambitious plans for the next years and years. I'm happy to have you in Poland, especially today. And from all the conversation, I can say that our foundation still has a lot to do, but is on a good track with good successes and good results, and we should also admire this.
Thank you so much, Agnieszka. I will never forget this day. It's a great day, and I will mark it in my calendar. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for being with us today. Thank you for listening to our conversation, and I kindly invite you to our next FLB Talks.